So welcome everybody to Doune Castle. This little video here by Sláinte Scotland and myself, Catriona, is going to hopefully help guests and people with restricted mobility see what the castle is like and how it's going to work for them. Now, just before we start, you will notice that the building is currently in scaffold. They are doing some work, but the property is still open as usual. So if you visit, hopefully it'll come down, but it might still be up, but it does just give you an idea of restrictions at the property. So we're just walking up the path here, and you'll notice that it's slippery, wet cobblestones. I picked the best day to come because this is quite often Scottish weather. I'm just showing you the little pathway up to the side. You can walk up that and go round the castle to get some nice views up the top. And for Monty Python fans, you'll recognise this section in particular. As we come in, you would have just seen my pal Liam there, and the staff are very good and very helpful at the castle, run by Historic Scotland. So if you have an Explorer Pass, this property is included. Now I'm just going to quickly walk us round the back of the castle, and this is where you'll see the most of the current scaffold is up. We've been visiting here frequently for the past 5 years, and it has changed with us over that time. They're adding things. There's the coach park you can see just there, so you have to walk from there. You cannot get any closer to the castle than what you can see, and those little grass pathways there will take you down towards the little river. Now as we come round the back here, this is part of quite a popular walk, and you'll see a lot of dog walkers and things along this route, but this is a way you can get to the back of the castle. Unfortunately, as we go round, you might see that on the day I visited, the scaffolding, and they have big barriers up to stop you going anywhere near, because they are currently working on the masonry. But it does still give you an idea, once that's all taken around, what the path is like and what it will look like when everything is back up and running. But isn't that just absolutely beautiful walking round the back there through the trees? It's very quiet, lots of birds, and at this point the gimbal that I had was having a little fit, so I do apologise for that, but there we go. That just shows you the sheer scale of the works that they're currently doing, and thankfully, thanks to the Outlander effect, a lot of money is currently being ploughed into the building to keep it going. That's just down to the wee river down there. And if you're a bit more adventurous, or you're not planning to visit the castle, if it looks like it's not something for you, as you can see, the path is fairly low level, and you can have a nice gentle walk along this way, just to get a sense of the countryside, look at the hills, look down at the river, and there is some Roman fort just behind where I am. But you're just going to look up there. This is the pathway. It's not very good. And as you can see, just through the trees there, there is a barrier. We used to be able to get in. But anyway, now we're inside the castle. This is the courtyard. This is the off-season. In the summer months, when it's drier, they do take those barriers down, so you can go in and sit down at that picnic bench. But when it's quite wet, they do close it off because it does damage the grass, having lots of people walking on the sodden grass. But this is now us going into the Duke's Hall, the Duke's Inner Hall, and these are the steps. You can see they're fairly okay, and you can hold on to the railing on the side. They're not too worn or anything. And there's another step in. So if you do have problems with mobility, if walking is not something for you, this is pretty much as far as you can get into the castle, into the courtyard there, which is quite difficult. But anyway, now we're inside the castle, and we're coming into the Duke's Inner Hall, as you can see. It's a lovely room, renovated during the Victorian period, quite significantly. And I'm just going to walk in. A lot of people don't even know this little hidey hole exists, this little water closet. I'm just going to quickly take you into. There we go. But again, more stairs. So if you're quite mobile, or at least can get around somewhat, you can possibly make your way in here. And it is open to the public to get in and out, but it is quite narrow, and it can be quite awkward, especially at this point that I'm coming down now, to get back down. But it is a nice little seating area there, just in case you don't fancy doing this next part that I'll be taking you into. these are the steps. Now these steps are much different from the others, and just showing you them here. They're quite narrow, they're old stone steps, and some of them are actually quite steep, and different steepnesses as well, so they can catch some people out. And then this is us coming in to the stairwell that takes you up to the Duke's Hall. Now just look here, you can see the worn steps there, and apologies for the light, but it is a dark section of the castle. It is 700 years old after all. But this just gives you a quick idea of what you are expecting to see. And I thought this might prove useful to people who want to see whether it's worth the steps, if it's something you can potentially manage, or it's something you wouldn't normally want to do frequently. You can see if it's something that you're willing to undertake. Now this is the stairwell. Now this is a very quiet day at Doune Castle. But you can see I had some traffic issues in the corridor there. That's a bit that I tend to stand in while waiting for people. But you can see they've got a nice new railing. And this just shows you the stonework as you come up. And the camera that we had on the day, because it's so narrow and such a big turn, the camera's struggling to accommodate that. But it does give you an idea of the sense of how claustrophobic it can be, and on busy days it can take ages just trying to get up and down those steps. So now I'm just coming in, and again I just want you to see there's one little closet there. I didn't go in there, but this is the corridor. It is very dark and the floor is very uneven here, so you have to pick your feet up, and this is just two people trying to walk past each other in the corridor, myself and a young woman and her son. But this is the views. This is why you make your trip up here. You can look down towards the car park, and here you have the Duke's Hall. It's called that. It's how we name the different sections of the castle. Now you'll see some people are walking around with audio guides. You can get an audio guide. Not all the information in it is absolutely accurate anymore. They've done a lot of work since the audio guide was first made, and it was the late great Terry Jones who narrated it, and unfortunately as part of the legacy with the Monty Python history of the castle, it's something that we're keeping going. And I hope everybody enjoys that side of it. But that just gives you a nice view down into the courtyard. And honestly, the scaffolding will maybe be there for another year or so. So if you're coming in another couple of years, hopefully that will be down for you. But this section is far easier. It's nice open. It's quite low level. Everything's quite even on the floor there, so it's fine. Now we're back in the Duke's Hall. Just making our way down. So I had to come back down those stairs. And now we're going to go into the Great Hall. Again, you can see there's a couple more stairs that you have to navigate to do this. And again, there's another stair just here that takes you in. And this catches some people out. I've known a few people to trip up. You see they've actually painted the edges white there. I don't know if you noticed that. But that's just to show that you're now going down. And there's an edge there so that you don't trip. So now this is the Great Hall, one of my favourite Great Halls in the country. Beautiful, nice big room. Quite often used for weddings, but you can see in this room there are a couple of different trip hazards. So it's just important to look out for them. There you can just see with the white that they've painted round there. And again, if we just move a little bit further, is as I said before, when I started doing Doune Castle, this is fairly normal. In fact, this is quite busy for even then. But now that the Outlander effect has really come into play, Doune Castle is incredibly busy with hundreds of visitors. You might have 70, 80 people wandering around the castle at any one time in the summer. And now we're just coming through. There was another step there. This is just coming through to the Great Kitchens area, the kitchen tower. And you can see this is very unusual, but they're doing a couple of works just on the day that I happened to visit. But usually you can walk in there and you can see some of the floor is quite uneven, but it's one of my favourite things. And you can see why in just a wee second there. That fireplace there right on the right. that is where a lot of our guests like to take their photograph inside. And for the Outlander fans, this is what they modelled the kitchens of Leoch on. So from an Outlander perspective, Doune Castle was Leoch, although they didn't film the kitchens here, they modelled it and took it elsewhere on set. But you'll hear that on the audio guide. Now this is another set of stairs. You can climb the kitchen tower here. I didn't go all the way because it was getting quite busy, and I thought that would probably show off enough. The rooms are fairly similar to what you saw in the other tower, but there you go. This is just to give you an idea of the claustrophobic tiny little medieval stairwells. And as you come down back in to the kitchen, having a wee look around, and here I am making my way back down the other stairs that take me out of the kitchen tower. As you can see, back down the stairs into the courtyard. So it really is a great visit. We spend about 1 hour here. So if it's not something that you feel that you can do, you can hopefully take from this video elements that you can enjoy. And if it's not something that you feel that you can do, you can always enjoy the outskirts or even just come into the shop, which is where I'm going to take you into right now. It's a lovely shop, one of the best historic Scotland shops on the Outlander tour, filled with Scottish knickknacks, lots of gifts and souvenirs for the Holy Grail, the medieval time Robert the Bruce, and obviously Outlander. And just at the back there is a nice dress up section. So it's a good visit, and I hope that you found this video useful. And if you plan to come with us, please get in touch, and see you soon.